Lenore's sister will try to do better. Is Lenore's sister doing better now? Thank you. I don't know how to do this. We had this party planned, Mel and I, months and months ago. We've been scheming and plotting how to have this wonderful party for my sister to celebrate. Later this year, she's going to be all of 70 years old. And July 29th was her 25th AA birthday. 25 years of sobriety. I cannot tell you how proud I am of my sister. She is awesome. She's been a beacon to so many people. And we had all these wonderful plans, all in the works, when she comes up to us and says, I'm going to throw myself a big party. And what I'm going to do is have a concert to show all that is in my heart, all the praise and gratitude I feel, and I want to share it with everybody else. And we're going, we had other plans. We were going to do this in October. Well, she plans to be gone in October. That won't work. So we were kind of dumbfounded and tried to keep our mouths shut and not say too much. But she kept going on about how she wanted this wonderful concert to share with other people. And she says, well, what do you think we should do this? I mean, where should we start? And I said, well, the mill is what Mel and I were going to do before you messed everything up. She says, oh, that's perfect. The mill is perfect. The Killingsworth family, who had our family reunion at noon today, they brought their wheat here to have it ground into flour when Mother was a little girl. And then after the mill went into the hands of the Hausers, Lenore had some kind of contact with the Hausers also, because Mrs. Hauser had a stroke and she needed someone to come take care of her and help her with her exercises and her physical therapy, and Lenore did that. And we all are very, very fond of the Van Vogt family, and we are so grateful for all that John and Louise have done for this community. So there's a little basket over there. If you feel grateful too, you can throw a little money in to say, hey, I appreciate all you've done for us as well. So Mel and I's ideas were so good, we weren't really willing to give them all up because we had great plans for sneaking in relatives, and so we just never said a word, and we did it anyway. Doug Mann, Lenore's son, flew in from Japan Thursday. Her younger son, David, here, flew in from Massachusetts Thursday, managed to race in. Mel bring them down from Spokane, hurry to the back of the house, race in, so he was standing there when they rang the front doorbell to see how shocked Lenore would be. My brother flew in from Phoenix with his son Michael yesterday and pulled the same trick on her. It was really fun. We have also our cousin Alice Roberts came down from La Crosse to be here, brought our Aunt May. And so we have relatives also from out of town that have been to the Killingsworth picnic. And so this is just a really, really fun time. Jay, where did you go? Jay has something to say. She thinks it's all about her share.
It's a suspicious reception. I am not her sister.
Oops.
But I have a gift here from my older sister. If she would come up here and accept this. It's a token and a symbol of love and service. Pattern of which I'm sure you'll recall.
Oh my, thank you.
John is doing dishes.
Oh, there it is. Okay, it's your turn. This is a song called Little White Crosses. A friend of ours was part of a band called Lost Highway, and him and his granddaughter were traveling into Montana. She remarked, "Look at Grandpa, look at all them little beautiful white crosses. I wonder what they mean." And he said that this song just came to him immediately. He pulled a big Greyhound bus over and he wrote this song. It's called Little White Crosses. Well, there are many signs in life help us along the way. Many friends and loved ones that get me through the day. As I travel life's highway, headed for the fold, we meet many crosses by the side of the road. Little white crosses by the side. Carol and I just got through traveling all over. We had a road bluegrass band and we played all around the country, played a lot in Arizona and played some all around the country. Years ago I got attracted to bluegrass music. I liked it because I played country and gospel for years, and it attracted me because it's an 6/8 time music. It's got a little different beat and it's really not easy to play. So over the years, I've kind of learned to pick a little of it. This is a tune called Shady Grove. Well, Shady Grove, my little miss, Shady Grove, my darling, Shady Grove, my little miss, going back to Harlan. Coffee grows the wild tree, river flows with brandy, the rocks on the hill, they're come to go, girls are sweeter than candy. Shady Grove, my little miss, Shady Grove, my darling, Shady Grove, my little miss, going back to Harlan. Every time I walk that road, it's always dark and cloudy.
number of years ago, got the opportunity to hear a 1940s Grand Ole Opry record back in the days of World War II, and when they used to broadcast on WSM radio, and there was 4 people that stayed in Nashville, Tennessee while the men were off to war. Hazel Dickens and her husband Harold and Stoney and Wilma Lee Cooper stayed back in Nashville, and they did shows on Wednesday night and Saturday nights, and it was broadcast on WSM radio. And one of the songs they did was a little tune called Here Today and Gone Tomorrow. This is the Hazel Dickens tune from the film. Here today and gone tomorrow, our love will always be a hidden love affair. I know you love me, but you're just a wandering. Today I love you, but tomorrow I may not care. For absence never makes my heart grow fonder. I get lonesome for someone's company. Here today and gone tomorrow, and my loving you is just a fantasy. Sometimes our love and the road gets rocky, dear. Well, it seems just like we never could agree. Here today and gone tomorrow, we can't seem to get along, so it's best we part. So absence never makes my heart grow fonder. I get lonesome for someone's company. Here today and gone tomorrow, and my loving you is just a fantasy. Yes, and my loving you is just a fantasy.
we spend Hope, John's wife, who is a fabulous preacher. She also is my favorite alto.
I think she was born in Lewiston, and then pretty soon we all came in the next slide. Go.
Oh, God. Yes,
Okay. We grew up on the farm where I live on Sweeney Gulch Road. And the picture on the upper left there is Lenore and Jay and some dog I never met. And if you'll notice, Lenore in these pictures had absolutely platinum blonde hair, curly, big brown eyes. She was gorgeous. This is our brother. Can't believe I did that. This is our brother Jay with Lenore. And then I came along a little later. That's Lenore Nye. And in many of these pictures, you'll see Lenore Nye, Lenore Nye, and Lenore Nye, because where my sister was, I had to be too, and butted into everything. This picture at the bottom, I love of Lenore. She was in, what do they call it, an operetta at school. And they made these darling little costumes, I think out of crepe paper. But this is prophetic because this is Lenore as a butterfly. It is so perfect because she is the butterfly. She's just a beautiful person that has come out of this cocoon. And she flits around her garden growing all kinds of things. So she's the butterfly. I like that. This is our father pitching horseshoes at a picnic up in the mountains. We spent a lot of time up in the mountains. As you see, my sister and I, my sister and I, and my sister and I. These are the swings in our front yard. And isn't this Pixie? Yeah, okay, that's when Pixie was a puppy. Lenore's holding Pixie. She and I, as we're getting a little older. And in case you haven't seen cows before, you need to see these cows. These are the steers that were in our feeding pen. And Lenore had this wonderful idea of riding them. And so we did. The one time though, she jumped up on the steer's back, went over the other side, and cut her shoulder on a piece of equipment, so that didn't work so well. Well, but we both got so we could run and jump up on these steers and ride them. But, you know, nothing wow about it. After about the 50th time, they don't go anywhere. They just stood there. But my sister, who's smarter than I am, knew that if she ran into the hay mow and got a handful of hay, that we could take turns. She would hold the hay and walk around, and the steer I was on would follow her, and then we took turns. Well, one day, Jay felt left out, and he wanted to ride. And Lenore said, well, I guess we could let him. So Lenore, being the smarter one, said, okay, I'm holding the hay, he's on the steer. When I say go, run down the hill, jump the creek, climb the fence. Now see, I'm too stupid to know what was going to happen. But it was wonderful. The steer ran down the hill, stopped, threw Jay in the ditch. We climbed the fence and ran for our lives. So these were the Hereford cattle in the feeding lot, and Lenore was very good with them. This is a family portrait when we were all cleaned up. And this is the first nice dress Lenore ever had. It was pink and silver and shiny, and she hated it. Absolutely hated it, but she was very pretty in it. And this picture is the Coon kids. My Aunt May, who's right over here, just lived down the road from us a piece. And the Coon kids walked back and forth from house to house all the time. Alice and Jay were the same age. Poor Lenore was stuck in the middle without a cousin the right age. And then Bob and I were the same age. But we did many, many things together. We're sure glad to have Alice here with us tonight. This is a dress, a prom dress. You have to correct me if I do this wrong, Lenore. I'm okay? All right. This is, I think, her first prom dress, and she made this dress. Lenore was a wonderful seamstress. Of course, so you couldn't not be wonderful. Mother would make you tear it out and do it over again until it was wonderful. But she usually got it right the first time. She grabbed scraps and made doll dresses before I could figure out which end was up. She could make beautiful things. And here she progresses from, oh yeah, I probably could keep track, couldn't I? Okay, this is, I think, 8th grade, 10th grade, and her senior picture is, she grew up, and you see her hair got dark, but she's still beautiful. This picture was taken in 1962 when she was hired by the Bell Telephone Company to be a hostess at the Seattle World's Fair. And she met the public and demonstrated this wonderful new thing in telephones, the push button. They were just coming out, and so she demonstrated to the public about them. I'm sorry, this is a bull. she learned a lot from the 4-H demonstrations on how to present herself, and she did a lovely job, and she was gorgeous. Okay, now let's go to the book. This is my dad, our dad, Ben Kuhn, and his brother, Earl. And one of the first Hereford bowls, I think, that they had. This I'm sure Bob and I decided this is Pebbles, that Lenore didn't write, but when Bob and I went to the pasture, Dad would stick Bob on the neck and tell him to hang on to the horns. I was behind Bob, hanging on to Bob. Dad grabbed the tail, and the bull carried us up out of the canyon. And then we found out this bull, when it got bored, ripped trees out of the pasture and carried them around on his head, so we thought probably wasn't too smart. Lenore had enough intelligence not to do it. Okay, upper left is Lenore wearing maternity clothes, looking at meat, and she lived in Italy at the time. And in Italy, you don't go to the store and buy maternity clothes. You just wear what you got or buy something bigger. And so I lived in Tacoma at the time, and I got to go to the store, try on all these wonderful maternity clothes, and mail them to Italy. The clerks thought I was nuts, but it was really fun. And below, this is little Doug that she had after that, playing airplane. And then they lived in Germany. And let's see, do you remember what trip this was? Okay. This is 1967. Lenore brought the boys to the States. She was on a military flight and was told that she was going to Spokane. She was not asked to go anywhere else. She could not go further than there. And they were just really nasty. Okay. So they get to Spokane and they can't land. So they took her to Seattle, where they said she couldn't go. And there she was stuck with 2 little boys in the airport in the middle of the night. I happened to live in Seattle at the time, and I got this call in the middle of the night. I'm at the airport, come and get me. Which I, of course, did, and I think it was a few days before the weather cleared, and she could go on. So the trip that she said, signed papers saying she wouldn't do, we did, and it was just great. This is Doug and David, and wearing their German outfits. And in this one, this is in Wiesbaden, in front of their apartment, and they didn't have a sled, but you can put little boys in a bucket, and it works pretty good. This is skiing in 1969, St. Johann, Austria. Okay. I didn't mess up too bad. Okay. 1968, I went to Europe to see Lenore, and since I was going, Mom and Dad decided, well, if we went with you, we wouldn't be afraid to go. Well, they messed that one up too, but we had a really good time, Lenore, touring us around. So this is in the salt mine in Salzburg? Oh, Berchtesgaden. Okay, sorry. See right there where it says. Oh, that would have been good. That's Lenore, me, Mom, and Dad, and a bunch of other people that we didn't know. This is Doug and Dave in 1969 in Pordenone, Italy, on the balcony of their apartment. I had this little picture that she had sent to me with the caption of "My Little Angels." This picture was in 1971, April. It's a view of the Parliament building in Budapest along the Danube. Okay, this is August 1971. I wrote here 1974. This is at my wedding, and that wasn't. It was 1971. She was a matron honor at my wedding, and the little guys came along. And this is somewhere in the 1980s, and this is at Mom and Dad's yard where I live now. Lenore and her 2 boys, and Lenore, and this is my youngest daughter, Maria, who's right there in that pretty red blouse. There's Maria. Lenore was named after Rowena Bell. Mom's sister's name is Rowena Lenore. Lenore is Lenore Kay, and Maria is Maria Lenore. So there she is with her namesake. This is Christmas in Wareham, Massachusetts in 1989. And this one, 1994, this is Lenore, Patty Killingsworth, Cheryl Killingsworth McMahon, and Julia and Aaron. And they're in northern Boston, that sometimes is called Little Italy. Lenore worked in Boston and loved to go here because she could practice her Italian. She could buy Italian groceries that she loved to buy. And I must tell a bad story on her. Sometimes she was in a hurry when she went to this store. And the first time she just really didn't have a whole lot of time, but she thought, well, this would be a good time to practice my Italian. So they came to help her, and she told them in Italian what she wanted, and all these people in line for the checkout got left there, and she got taken to the front of the line. Well, that worked so well that it just, whenever she needed to get in and out in a hurry, she would speak Italian and get in and out first. Now, it's not that she lied and said she was Italian. It just never came up, so she straightened out that misunderstanding, but she got really good service. Now we're going to Thailand in 1996 with this picture. Mom and Lenore admiring the flowers in Thailand, and Mother petting the nose of an elephant. You'll see lots of elephants. Keep this in mind, many elephants. This is Lenore, Mother, and this is Doug's wife, Runapa. And this is Dad. He cleaned up once in a while too. And it's one of the better pictures we've had taken of him, and he actually isn't wearing his bib overalls. So that's why I have to identify him for you. This is Jay, Lenore, and I at some time. And Jay and Lenore in Arizona. Jay lives in Arizona. And so there were some trips down there where they really enjoyed going. Speak up if there's something you want to point out on these pictures.
Oh, I will.
Please. One tourist taking a picture of the other tourist taking a picture of the tourist, kind of thing. I like that. And out and about, seeing the sights of Arizona. And yes, this is Jay. He cleans up good too. In his business attire there. Now we've gone back to Thailand. And this is for Doug's wedding there. And Lenore is tying the gold onto Renapa's wrist, and this is Doug. Now, the women in the family who attended this wedding were to wear silk Thai traditional costumes. They sent ahead with the information of all the measurements so that they would be made when they got there. But the Thai people who were to make these dresses said that couldn't possibly be right. Nobody could be that tall. So they didn't start until they got there, and they measured them themselves. And these ladies made these outfits in 2 days. 2 days. But you can see the difference in size. There's my sister dancing with this nice little Chinese. Like so. But the beautiful outfits. Oh yeah, I love this one with the neck rings. In Thailand, I think it's called the Karen tribe. Where's the? But
Your own tribe.
It's my own tribe, but I'm not wearing it. The rings on their necks, and this is in the market, probably Bangkok? Okay, thank you. Lenore and the first grandchild, Chinapa. And this is David and Dad, right?
Yeah.
And she seems to find raw meat a lot of places, if you notice. Oh, hello. Okay, we're good to go. I'll pick it up later. Okay. This is, well, let's go here. This is Lenore at work, working. And this is Lenore at home in Wareham, Massachusetts, with her cat, Piglet. I guess you can't take the girl off the farm quite yet. That's Lenore and Piglet. But, as you can see, she got in some kind of a ride to, you can't keep them down on the farm forever, and she's going into outer space. But she's found a cheap return ticket. Lots of different crafts, and always does beautifully. This is glass blowing. Where was that done?
Burgess, Massachusetts.
In Massachusetts. Okay. Okay. This is on the farm where I live, and this was when Chinapa was quite small, coming out to play with the goats. We love to have the kids come out and play with the goats. I love to have Lenore come out and play with the goats. And when they're tiny and I'm bottle feeding, she's a great deal of help. And as you can see, she doesn't mind too much, and this was just this year. She's good. And again, she has this thing about elephants, taking the grandchildren to see the elephants. And she also, with her sewing, has made Halloween costumes for the children and sent them. And so this is Chinapa, Doug's daughter, and this is Toxin, his little boy, dressed as an elephant. Now you see, she's got this thing about elephants. Okay, this is Mel's birthday. Toxin is here, the kids were here together for this celebration. And if you'll see this shirt, this very bright pink car on the shirt, it's real. It's Mel's car. He keeps it hidden in the garage, but it's really, really a cool car. And I guess that's Chinapa hiding back there. I just see an eyeball. Okay. Okay, see? She has gotten Mel to go on elephant rides. And this is Mel and Lenore. They got married in her gorgeous garden. She calls it her Serenity Garden, and it's beautiful. You can just feel so peaceful and calm and serene when you walk through her flower garden, and that's where she and Mel got married, which I thought was really cool. This shows Doug and Dave, Mel and Lenore, and after 25 years, you can actually go into a bar with your kids, and they can have a beer, and you don't mind too much at all, and you can handle it. So 25 years that's a good thing. Among the many family traditions that Lenore's hung on to throughout many years of her life is making cookie houses at Christmas time or Thanksgiving time, inviting people over to make Christmas houses, the cookie houses, candies, and it's lots of fun, and you can really, really, really make a big mess, and it's fun. But this is Doug's family, Doug and then Lenore, Toxin, Runapa, and Chinapa at Lenore's house making cookie houses. Thank you. Now we're going to open this up so that anybody who would like to come up and say something is very welcome to do so. Mel, do you want to come up first, or do you want to?
Well, I might just as well.
Okay, I think you might as well too. So anyone who would like to have something to say,
All of mine.
Okay. Is that better?
Yeah.
Well, you're looking at probably the luckiest man in the world, Glenn. I tell you, it's just amazing to me how I know a lot of you, most of you probably grew up around here. You know Lenore for a longer period of time than I do. On the other hand, it doesn't take you long to get to know what a sweetheart, what a person Lenore is. You don't have to know her long at all. Trust me on that. Met Lenore, time of my life. For some reason, I had 20 years. I'm in a 12-step program also. That's how we met, as a matter of fact, at the Harvest Church. We were having meetings out there, and so we met there. And I had two complete decades, 20 years of just nothing going wrong, nothing happening to me, and that kind of thing. All of a sudden, I had one year when 3 major things happened to me. I knew someday the hammer had to fall. I know God doesn't like me better than He does you. Or I look at Him rather suspiciously. He likes us all the same. And I knew someday it was going to come, and it did. So anyway, so I'm going through that period of time, and that's just the same time when Lenore came out from Massachusetts. And one thing is, you can tell by her being around all over the world where she's been, and that sort of thing, that I knew she wasn't from Clarkston. Nope, I knew that. And so as time went on, we got to know each other more, and I was going through this stuff, and one was, I won't get into a long story about that, it just, stuff happens to everybody. Well, my stuff happened to be cancer. The doctors seemed to tell me at that time that they just took me and told me that, now if that's in your blood system, you're a goner, and there's nothing we can do with it. And that sort of thing. Well, okay. So we went on from there. I have an extremely strong faith in my God. He gets me through anything. Therefore, I wasn't worried about it. And I mean that. And the proof is I got through that as that time went on. Then Lenore and I met each other and got closer together, and now I am married to Lenore Nye. Again, one of the sweetest, nicest ladies on the planet. So that makes me, right in that same ballpark, married to the nicest, sweetest person on the planet. Every day, actually, there's times when I think that maybe I did die. The way my life was before, I was doing okay. I was doing all right. But there was issues out there and so on and so forth in my life. And I actually thought, well, maybe I did die. Maybe this is heaven now. That's how I ended up with Lenore. And I got to meet all my friends. You people. I wouldn't have known you would be for Lenore. And I don't know what you think about yourself, but I like it. Again, I don't have to be long to know that. I just don't have to. Anyway, Lenore is just, what I like to do is watch her. I just do that. I'm a people watcher and that kind of thing. And I like that we have a lot of, Lenore helps ladies, I help the guys in our house. I love sitting there and watching, just briefly. I can't hang out in there, but I get to walk through or whatever, watch over with these ladies. And I do mean ladies. And they may not know it yet, but they are. And Lenore, just to see her light up, she just changes, or she just, the way she lights up and the way she talks. She just turns, is it angelic? Is that the right word? She just does that. There's just something about her. My own kids now get a chance to talk to her in that manner and that kind of thing, because they've had problems in their lives and so on too. And she's the one that chooses to talk to her. And I just love watching her do that. Can't say enough about her, obviously, so I will stop now. But I will stop now. Thank you.
I have a very different perspective. As you know, we were raised in a small four-room house up on Pataha Ridge. 4 rooms and a path. And that was pretty close living. Sometimes it was too close. She's got to be this drama queen because of something. She used to do cute little things in that tiny little house, like stand in the doorway while I was at the opposite end of the room, and fall to the floor screaming that Jade kicked her. And of course he would get absolute hell. And that set the stage for just a lot of fun things like that that went on and on and on. She even reacted at times that she was playing with a cat out in the yard and heard this god-awful screaming. And she said the kitty had kicked her. Now how on earth the kitty had kicked her and hurt her like that all? But the drama was developed in a lot of other ways too. Her voice and way of expressing herself came out of some practice that I helped her out with. Part of that good home up there was a path. And I practiced marksmanship with snowballs through a little tiny window in this path. And she learned how to be very vocal and very loud as my marksmanship improved with those snowballs over the years. Where's she hiding? Oh, there. Okay. So I've made my comment. I had to change the tone a little bit because there is a little reality in life. Particularly coming from, I guess, an older brother. I've teased her for years and years and years, introduced her as my older sister. And her responses were magnificent and colorful. And I attribute a lot of that to those cold snowballs at the cold seat in a little room outside the house at the end of the path. So whoever would like to follow, please come up and talk about Lenore.
Ooh, all these tall people. Well, first of all I can say is, wow. I mean, turn it down like that. The entertainment was awesome. I mean, can you imagine? That is just something. I cannot believe there is a family where there are so many tall people. And I'm jealous of that. But I was supposed to tell a story, a little roast thing. First of all, I think it's really unfair that some people have all that talent and then there are some of us who have, like, not that much. But we'll let that go. Lenore and I went to Seaside, Oregon last year together. We were right on the ocean. It was just awesome. And you know, this lady is really classy. You know, she's very dignified and so forth. But one morning, well, Lenore doesn't get up in the morning. She gets up in the middle of the night. She says it's early morning, but it's the middle of the night, like 4 a.m. And I'm sleeping in the same room, and all of a sudden I kind of woke up and thought that I was seeing some kind of a Spider-Man something. I didn't know what. And what it was the sun was just coming up, and Lenore's very tall, and she was doing her yoga. And it was like, I thought, I didn't know if I was awake or asleep or what. So it was just kind of amazing. Anyway, I finally realized that I was awake, and it was Lenore doing yoga. I think she was doing the stork thing, and it was, it scared me. And I mean, she's not a scary person, but I have known Lenore since she's come here, and Jay, and I have fed Karen's goats. They are just adorable, and I just am so honored to be a friend. I just think Lenore is just one of the classiest people I know. And she can be really funny, too, I'll tell you. I mean, sometimes she can crack a joke. We go to lunch about once a month, and we have a good time. So, despite all the dignity, there is a little bit of devilishness there that, if you watch, it's there.
For you folks that I haven't had a chance to meet yet or don't remember, my name is Mike Carlin. And when we were growing up, the Coon boys and the Parlett boys were the best of friends. And they became our dads and uncles. And so as time would go along, as we were born and starting to grow, we spent a lot of Sundays together. Families getting together, and from my side, I just had a little brother, and it would get a little boring out there on the ranch from time to time. But we'd go to the Coons. They had lovely girls. They had Jay, who was older than I was. It just didn't get much better than that. We had some great times together, and some wonderful, wonderful memories. And time goes along, and we all started traveling, seeing the world, and doing our own things. And now we've kind of reached a point in our lives where we're coming back to Pomeroy. I left Pomeroy wanting to see the world. Came to the conclusion after a while that Pomeroy was the center of the world. So I somehow missed it, and so I came back again. It's just a really wonderful experience getting to be together with the Coons again, and it's like we just kind of skipped a little time and picked it right up again.
Thank you for coming to share this evening. We now have cookies and plenty of time to mingle and chatter. Thank you so much. I'm grateful for everyone.